You're joking. Not another one? Oh, for God's sake, I can't stand this.
And it is happening again. It's happening again at Manchester United. Some United fans are in support of it. I cannot understand it. If Ineos, if the board, if the majority of fans jump on this, you can forget Amorim being successful. You can then forget the next 2, 3, 4, 5 managers being successful. And I've got evidence. I believe empirical proof that this is the case. Man United fans turning on Amorim, siding with the players again because they don't have the patience, because they don't have the strength of mind to persevere. It's an abomination. And we're going to jump into it in a few moments. Hit the like and the share button, please. Also touching on a big update regarding Arsenal and their injuries, and a very strange story regarding Thomas Tuchel, but we knew that was going to end up coming. But I wanted to start with Manchester United today. Extracts here from an article from Chris Wheeler, who states that some players are beginning to lose faith in Amorim's system as a result of performances, as performances continue to suffer. Amorim may still have their support, but confidence in his methods is inevitably starting to ebb. It is understood that a disaffected group believe that even when United win, it is largely down to individual moments of quality or good fortune rather than tactical triumph. A dressing room source told Chris Wheeler, the feeling is we got away with one, but we might not be so lucky next time. Now, of course, if you don't like Amorim, if you're a Man United fan that doesn't like Amorim, you jump on this and say, yes! Yes! I was right. I knew ball, bruv. My football IQ's up here. That's what you do. You jump on it. Yes. Confirmation bias. I was right. Woo! We've got to move him on. For me, I view this as damning and telling. We have seen these headlines before about Oli, about Jose, about Ten Hag. We've seen headlines that state that it's like a PE teacher's training session. Training's too hard. Training's too easy. The tactics don't work. We're too negative. We're too positive. We don't like this. We don't want to press. We hate that. He's like a school headmaster. It's like we're in the army. Then it's too ill-disciplined. Then it's we don't have the quality of coaches. We've seen this all before. And my problem with anybody backing this, and yes, Amorim is wrong, we've got to get him out, is you are creating a rod for our own backs and you cannot see it. In every single which way. Let's just say Ineos take this seriously and we go, do you know what, players? You're right. He isn't adapting to you. He's not adapting to you and bowing down to your demands. You know, Ten Hag did and Oli did and, well, Jose didn't and we got rid of him pretty quickly. Louis van Gaal tried to, and his system never really came alive. I don't really think Moyes got the chance, to be fair, but we'll make him adapt. And if he doesn't adapt, we'll get rid of him. Because maybe, as we go on to our 7th manager, our 8th manager, maybe it will work. Maybe this time, the club decides, actually, this time round, we won't stick to a manager's philosophy. We won't build a squad that's designed for it. And we'll ask that coach, we'll ask that manager to bend over and adapt to the players at hand. This time it might work. Again, I want you to drop your thoughts on Amorim individually. I'm talking about the players downing tools. I'm talking about, and by the way, with each manager, it may be a different group. And that's how you as fans operate. Let me rephrase that. That's how some of you as fans operate. You have to drop the subjectivity here. Forget whether you like Amorim or not, whether you like Ten Hag or not, whether you loved Oli or not, as a coach, that is. It's protecting the role of manager. Many of us have spoke about this for years. Every time we back the players over the manager, it becomes harder for the next guy to turn things around. It's the monkeys in a cage scenario. And if you haven't heard this, I'll break it down. There was an experiment once upon a time done where 10 monkeys were put into an enclosure. And if any of the monkeys went up a set flight of stairs, they all got sprayed with water. So what happened very quickly, if any monkey went near those stairs, they got dragged down by the rest of them and told no. Then what they did once every couple of weeks is they replaced one monkey with the experience of the water and the stairs with someone that had never experienced it. And of course, that inexperienced monkey would try and climb up the stairs. And each time he'd be dragged down and given a little bit of a kick in and told not to do it. Within the space of a year, there was no monkeys left in the enclosure that had ever been sprayed with water for going up the stairs. But yet, they wouldn't allow any of the other monkeys to go up the stairs. And this is what goes on in the Man United dressing room. You'll hear people go, well, Ralph Rangnick asked for open heart surgery, and a massive amount of that squad is now gone. But the learnt behaviours are passed on, even if they're not directly experiencing the root cause. And I think a lot of it started a little bit with LVG, but massively in the Jose era, where players got to rule the roost. And this is my only question, and I'm going to end this segment on this. Why do you think it is better to side with the players again and either make Ruben adapt to them or to change manager, change coach, who will adapt to them? Why do you think that is more likely to work on the 7th or 8th attempt versus telling the players no, they will adapt to the manager's philosophy and we will buy to build that philosophy outright? Tell me why, if you're backing the players, you think it's going to work this time round versus trying something different. I'd love to get your opinions on that. Now, a big story today regarding Arsenal from John Cross that says that Mikel Arteta is hopeful of having Bukayo Saka and Gabriel Martinelli back after the next international break. They could even return to face Fulham on Tuesday, the 1st of April, to give Arsenal's running a huge boost after their devastating injury list. And as we all know, the injury list for Arsenal has been absolutely catastrophic from an attacking sense. Some of it brought upon themselves, absolutely, by not strengthening enough in those areas in the summer and by not going out in January and buying. And I think most Arsenal fans that we've had on the terrace, rivals like myself and others, have very much called that out. But getting Martinelli and getting Bukayo Saka back is going to be absolutely massive. But, and there is a big but here, they have to stay on course. In fact, I think they have to win every game until that point. Arsenal have to do something almost historic. Arsenal have to do something which I don't remember seeing before. Now, it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. If you've got an example, please let me know in the comments section, but I just can't remember it offhand. And I tried Googling it, but it doesn't come up on the searches. I can't remember a team in the title race that lost its main 4 attackers to injury, and all of them for considerable periods of time at this stage of a season, was behind the league leaders, and they got through it. It's highly unlikely that they've got West Ham next, very tough game. Then they've got games against Man United and Chelsea on the horizon. Can Mourinho step up? Can he score more goals the way he did? Can Ethan Nwaneri be relied upon to be consistent for those 4 or 5 games until Martinelli and Saka come back to give them some respite? It remains to be seen. It remains to be seen. But Liverpool have a really tough run where there is the possibility of points being dropped. But that isn't enough. Arsenal must win all of their next 4 games before these players return. It's a big ask. It's a tough ask. But if they do it, I think the end of this season's title running could be absolutely magic between Liverpool, who I still think are the best team in the world. Yes, they've had a couple of dodgy performances in the last few weeks and gone out to Plymouth and got lost a goal late and equalised. Slightly fortuitous against Wolves. I still think they'll turn that round. But it's interesting news indeed. Question to Arsenal fans watching, do you think that is rushing back Saka? Do you think that's rushing back Martinelli? Would you like them to be given longer away, more in prep for next year? Or do you think, actually, let's get them back. We need them for the title race. We could be, you could, theoretically, if you win the next... Look, you've got to remember, you're playing West Ham. Man United and Chelsea are not particularly great. Like, you really should be beating us right now, even with your attacking line. We really are not great as teams. And then the other game in that period is, and I forget now, but I'm going to go and check. I thought I knew what game it was, and then my head's gone, and I can't remember. So it's West Ham at home this weekend. And there's the game before the tough one, real big tough one, is away to Nottingham Forest, and then it's away to Man United and at home to Chelsea. Can Arsenal win those 4 games? Let me know in the comments section below. I'd love to hear from you. Now, I read this article today that says the FA is allowing Thomas Tuchel the flexibility to make regular trips back to Germany to see his family, even though it has meant him missing 3 Premier League weekends, the 3rd round of the FA Cup, and all 4 Carabao Cup semi-final matches in his first 6.5 weeks. He hasn't managed a game yet. And the way the media is gunning for him, I find it not surprising, but embarrassing. And I think when you read it on the surface, you go, oh, you know what? That's 6.5 weeks, and he's missed 3 weeks of Premier League football and other games because he's in Germany. How is he watching and assessing the players? And then you think to yourself, well, managers don't do the scouting of the new players they're signing, by and large. They send scouts who then give them reports, and the clubs then make decisions on them. He can watch on television, which gives you a good indication. I know it's different watching the players at the ground because you see things the camera don't pick up, so that's important. But when it comes to watching Harry Kane, how much more is he learning? Although he can watch him in Germany, to be fair. When it comes to watching John Stones, what more is he learning that he doesn't already know is a question. My final point is, all the previous managers, whether international or English, went to a lot more games. But what did that lead to? That methodology, great. You want it to be done. But did it make us better? Did it make us more successful? Did it make us more consistent? Potentially. Southgate, for me, in my lifetime, has probably given us our most amount of consistency within tournaments, in terms of we've got to a semi-final at the World Cup and 2 finals of the Euros. But every other previous manager went to lots of games, and they didn't get us anywhere near that. Not in my lifetime anyway, barring 1990. So I'm just relaxed about this as an England fan. I don't necessarily think it's the worst situation in the world. But what I do know is that no matter how small the mistake, I just don't think it's going to work with Tuchel, because the media is not going to allow it to happen. As I said earlier about Manchester United, every time we go through a little bit of adversity, the stories come out that the players don't like the manager, don't like the training, don't like the tactics, and it catches on, and it becomes harder and harder and harder for that coach, that manager, to be successful. It's going to be even worse for Thomas Tuchel with him being German, and they are going to pull on that xenophobic thread every single week. Whether it be people that genuinely despise the Germans, or people that think, oh, maybe he's just not giving it his all because he wants to damage England because he's German. They're going to pull on that. They really, really are. I'd love to get your take on that, though. Is him missing games in the flesh a problem? Do you see it as a concern? Or do you actually feel that, well, it's a different approach? Maybe a different approach is what England need at this point. How do you personally see it? Would love to hear from you in the comment sections below. Until next time, take care, goodbye, God bless, and I'll see you all again soon. Peace!